The war had ended, but the stars were still burning. For years, the galaxy had watched fire and destruction spread across thousands of worlds. Cities turned to dust. Oceans boiled. Planets that once sang with life now floated in silence. When the peace treaty was finally signed, every alien race wanted only one thing: to escape. The Council of Worlds called it the Great Departure. They ordered every fleet to return home. No one was to stay behind on dying planets. The message was simple: survive. Forget the past. But Earth was not listening. When the alien fleets left Earth's orbit, they expected to see empty land, dead oceans, and nothing worth saving. Instead, they saw lights. Small lights. Human lights. Even after the bombings and storms, humans had stayed. High above the planet, in a silver ship shaped like a crescent moon, a young alien named Kara watched the blue world fade under the smoke. Her people, the Valari, were among the first to leave. They said humans were reckless, too emotional, too fragile. But Kara didn't believe that. Through the ship's viewing window, she saw something that made her heart ache. Down there in the ruins of a burned city, humans were still moving. Tiny figures, carrying tools, rebuilding. Why? Kara whispered. Why are they not leaving? No one answered. Her commander, old and tired, only said, Humans are stubborn creatures. They do not know when to stop. The ship engines roared, ready to jump to hyperspace. But Kara couldn't look away. Days later, the galaxy was quiet. The Great War was over, yet it didn't feel like peace. Entire star systems were empty. Ships drifted without purpose. No songs, no trade, no laughter, only silence. In that silence, one thing broke through. A distress signal. It came from a small colony on the edge of the Vega system, one of the worlds destroyed in the war. The signal was weak, fading, full of static. But one message was clear. Please, anyone, we need help. The Alien Alliance received the signal but ignored it. They said the planet was too dangerous, too unstable. Not worth the risk, they said. They had left enough dead behind already. But someone answered. Someone from Earth. The humans had built a communication center deep under the ruins of an old city. It was cold, broken, full of cracked screens and half-working generators. But the humans had turned it into life again. When they heard the signal, they didn't ask why. They didn't ask who. They just said, let's go. A small team of engineers and soldiers prepared to leave. Their ships were damaged and slow. They had no backup, no support. But they still launched. Kara, sitting in her quiet Valari ship, watched the transmission come through the galactic network. Her people were laughing at the humans. Fools, they said. They'll die for strangers. But Kara couldn't laugh. She saw their faces, tired, dirty, but full of fire. She saw one of them, a woman named Captain Mara Grant, leading the mission. Mara said into the camera, we don't leave people behind. Doesn't matter what species they are. Something inside Kara changed. Outside her window, the stars looked cold and far away. Her people believed in survival through escape. Humans believed in survival through courage. The difference was everything. Kara turned off the communication feed and sat in silence. She could still hear Mara's words echoing in her head. She wondered what kind of species risks everything for those who already gave up. The next morning, she went to her commander. I want to follow the humans, she said. Her commander laughed. Why? They're doomed. Kara looked at him quietly and replied, maybe, but I want to see why they try. She left her fleet and set a small ship on the same path as the human rescue team. The stars stretched into white lines as she entered hyperspace. For the first time in her life, Kara felt fear and hope at the same time. She didn't know what she would find on that ruined colony. Maybe she would find only death. Maybe she would find something more. As her ship moved closer to the dark planet, she whispered to herself, if everyone else walked away. Why did humans stay? The radio crackled with a weak voice. The same human distress signal still repeating across space. The message was fading fast. Kara looked out at the dying light of the planet ahead and gripped the controls tighter. She was following the humans now, and whatever happened next would change the galaxy forever. The planet Vega 9 was dying. The air was poison, the ground cracked like glass, and the skies burned a dull red. Every species in the galaxy had already marked it as unsavable, but humans didn't believe in that word. Far from the ruined planet, a small human ship called Hope's Edge prepared for launch. It wasn't shiny like alien cruisers. It was built from scrap patched metal and old war tech. Every surface told a story of something fixed, something someone refused to throw away. Inside, Captain Mara Grant stood in front of her team. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard with fire. "Out there," she said, pointing to the holomap glowing on the wall, "there are survivors. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter what they look like. They called for help. And we're going." Her crew nodded, tired faces, scarred hands, but hearts full of something stronger than fear. From orbit, Kara, the alien observer, watched their ship rise from Earth's ruined sky. Her own people, the Valerie, were still rebuilding their cities far away, safe and hidden. Kara could have stayed with them, but she didn't. Her commander's last words still echoed in her mind. "If you follow them, don't expect to come back." She had followed anyway. Her small ship kept a quiet distance behind Hope's Edge, hidden from scanners. She told herself she was just observing, just studying human behavior. But deep down she knew it wasn't true. Something about these strange creatures pulled her closer, their courage, their madness, their humanity. Hours passed. The human ship entered the Vega system. Radiation storms swirled across the surface like red hurricanes. Sensors screamed warnings. Every alien in the galaxy would have turned back. But Mara only said, "Take us down." The landing was rough. Fire, wind, smoke. The ground shook beneath them as the ship touched down. When the door opened, the smell hit them first, ash and metal. Ruins stretched to the horizon, then a faint sound. A child's voice. "Help! Please!" Mara's heart pounded. "We've got survivors!" she shouted. The team grabbed masks, lights, and medkits, running into the red fog. Kara watched from her ship's camera feed, her hands trembling. These humans were walking straight into death. For strangers. Inside a half-collapsed dome, the humans found a group of aliens, small, insect-like creatures, their bodies weak and trembling. They were the Ishari, a race known for running fast and hiding faster. One of them looked up at Mara with wide, glassy eyes. "You came back?" he asked weakly. Mara knelt beside him and smiled. "No one gets left behind." The humans lifted the injured, carried them to the ship and gave them water. Their equipment was failing, their shields flickering, but they didn't stop. Kara couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her people would have called this suicide. But the humans, they called it duty. The storms grew worse. Lightning danced across the horizon. The colony began to collapse around them. "Captain, we've got 2 minutes before the core blows," one of the engineers shouted. "Everyone inside!" Mara yelled. But as the last of the Ishari were loaded onto the ship, a loud explosion tore through the ground. The entrance collapsed. Half the crew was trapped behind the rubble. Kara's breath caught. Through the camera, she saw Mara's face covered in dust, blood running down her cheek. The human captain looked at her trapped soldiers and smiled sadly. "Go," she said into her comm. "Get them out of here." Her voice was steady, no fear. Only purpose. The young pilot on the bridge shouted back, tears in his eyes. "Captain, we can't leave you." "You can," Mara said quietly. "That's an order." Kara couldn't stay silent anymore. She opened her comm channel to the humans, breaking her own people's laws. "This is Kara of the Valari," she said. "I can help. I have a drone that can cut through the debris." The pilot hesitated. "An alien?" "Do it." Mara's voice came through, weak but firm. "Anyone who's helping is one of us." Kara launched her drone. The small machine burned through the wreckage, clearing a path. The crew rushed in, pulling Mara out at the last second as the ground exploded behind them. The ship took off, engines screaming, flames rising below. In the distance, the colony collapsed completely, gone forever. As silence filled the cabin, Kara's voice came through the radio. "Why did you do that?" she asked softly. "You almost died for them. They weren't even your people." Mara looked out at the stars, breathing hard. Her lips curved into a faint smile. "They are now," she said. Kara sat in her small ship, stunned. For the first time, she understood. Maybe humanity's strength wasn't their technology or numbers. Maybe it was something deeper. They didn't walk away. They stayed. Even when it hurt, the rescue was supposed to be the end of it. They had saved the survivors, escaped the explosions, and returned to orbit. But for the humans, it was never the end. The Vega 9 colony was gone. But the planet wasn't dead yet. Deep under the surface, something was still burning. If it wasn't stopped, the whole system could fall apart. And the humans had already decided what to do. On board the Hope's Edge, Captain Mara Grant stood before her tired crew. They were bruised, burned, and exhausted, but she saw that same fire in their eyes. "The storm's spreading," said Chief Engineer Rico. "Radiation levels climbing. We should head home before we melt." Mara shook her head. "If we leave, the explosion will wipe out half the sector. There are more colonies nearby." "We're not running," Rico sighed. "Of course we're not." He gave a tired smile. "You humans really don't know how to quit." Mara grinned back. "That's why we win." Kara listened to their voices from her small ship, hovering nearby. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. No one else in the galaxy would stay on a burning planet. Not for strangers, not for anyone. She sent a message. "Captain Grant, this is Kara. You've already done enough." "If you stay, you'll die," Mara answered with calm warmth in her voice. "Then at least we'll die doing something that matters." Kara stared at the transmission. Her heart felt heavy. No logic, no reason, just courage. She couldn't stay away any longer. Kara landed her ship beside Hope's Edge. When she stepped out, the wind hit her like knives of fire. Her breathing mask hissed and whined, struggling against the heat. Humans were already working, setting up shield generators and carrying metal pipes across the broken ground. One of them saw her and shouted, "Hey!" "Another alien. You here to help?" Kara hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I'm here to help," the human smiled. "Good, grab a wrench, no questions." No suspicion. They just accepted her, as if she had always been part of the team. Together they worked through the night. The humans built makeshift cooling towers and power links to stabilize the planet's core. Every few minutes, tremors shook the ground. Flames burst from cracks in the earth. Still they kept working. Hands burned, faces covered in ash, eyes glowing with determination. Kara watched them closely. She had studied 100 alien civilizations, but none like this. Humans laughed while the world burned around them. They joked about food, about the smell of smoke, even about death. One soldier said to her, "You know, if this doesn't work, at least we'll go out warm." And everyone laughed. Kara didn't understand it. But she wanted to. Hours later, the power grid failed. The cooling towers stopped. The ground began to crack apart again. "System overload," Rico shouted. "We're out of time." Mara turned to Kara. "Can your ship's reactor give us more power?" "Yes, but if I connect it, I can't take off again," Kara said. Mara looked straight at her. "We all make choices. Yours might save millions." Kara froze, then nodded slowly. "I'll do it." She connected her ship's reactor to the human system. Lights flickered, then roared back to life. The temperature dropped. The ground began to stabilize. But Kara's ship, her only way home back, was melting under the pressure. The humans noticed, but no one ran to stop her. They all knew what it meant. When the energy transfer was complete, her ship exploded in a flash of light. The shockwave threw everyone to the ground. When Kara opened her eyes, she saw the humans around her, still alive, still smiling. The fires had stopped. The air was cooling. Mara helped her stand. "You did it." Kara looked around, stunned. "We did it." Later, as the sky began to clear, Mara recorded a message to send to the galaxy. Her voice was tired but proud. "To anyone listening, Vega 9 is safe. We're alive. We're staying here to rebuild. If anyone still believes this galaxy can heal, come join us." The message spread faster than anyone expected. Across dozens of systems, aliens stopped and listened. For the first time in a long time, they heard hope, and it came from humans. On a distant Valari ship, Kara's old commander watched the transmission. He turned to his crew and whispered, "They went into the fire," and came back with light. Kara sat beside the humans, staring at the rebuilt horizon. The stars were clearer now, the air softer. She had lost everything, her ship, her people's trust, but gained something far greater. She finally understood what made humans different. They didn't fight the fire to win. They fought it because they couldn't stand to see it burn alone, and in that moment Kara knew. The fire didn't stop because of luck. It stopped because humans stayed. The fire was gone. The ground was calm again, the air cool and clean. For the first time in years, Vega 9 was quiet. The humans had done what no one else even tried. They stopped a dying world from burning. But for Captain Mara Grant and her crew, the mission wasn't over. They didn't just save a planet. Now they wanted to rebuild it. Every morning the survivors woke up to the sound of hammers, engines, and human laughter. What was once a dead colony began to grow again. Metal shelters rising from the ashes, new gardens planted in the dust. The aliens who were rescued, the Ishari, couldn't believe what they were seeing. Humans worked beside them as equals, sharing food, tools, and even jokes. An Ishari elder said softly, "Your world burned too, yet you still build," Mara smiled. "That's what we do. We fix what's broken, even if it's not ours." Kara stayed with them. She had no ship now, no way home, but she didn't care. She helped the engineers build water filters, power lines, and weather shields. Every night she recorded everything, not as a spy anymore, but as a witness. Her reports spread through the galaxy, replayed on hundreds of alien networks. At first people watched out of curiosity, then out of guilt, then out of hope. They saw humans planting trees where the ground was ash. They saw them rebuilding homes for aliens they'd never met. They saw something the galaxy had forgotten: compassion. Months passed. The small colony turned into a growing city. They named it New Dawn. The air was clear. The radiation storms were gone. Children, human and alien, played in the same streets. Kara walked through the city, recording her final log for the day. Her voice was calm, thoughtful. Humans are strange. They laugh in danger, they cry when others suffer, and they never stop working. Maybe that's their secret. They refuse to accept the end. One evening, Mara and Kara stood together on a hill overlooking the new city. The sunset painted the sky golden red. Machines hummed softly in the distance. Kara broke the silence. "My people used to think humans were primitive, that you acted without logic, but now I see logic never builds hope. Only hearts do," Mara chuckled. "Hearts and a lot of duct tape." They both laughed, the sound echoing through the valley. A few days later, ships appeared in the sky. Not warships, transporters, supply carriers, medpods. Dozens of them. For the first time since the Great Departure, alien species were returning. They came one by one, curious, cautious, humbled. The first Valari ship landed near the new city. Kara froze as her old commander stepped out. He looked around the rebuilt colony, the green fields, the power stations, the people working side by side. Then he turned to Kara. "You disobeyed orders," he said quietly. "Yes," Kara replied. "And I was right to." The old commander didn't answer. He simply nodded. Then he looked at Mara. "Your people, they stayed when all others ran. You rebuilt what we destroyed. The galaxy owes you." Mara shook her head. "You don't owe us anything. Just don't walk away next time." Soon more aliens joined the effort. The Thalans, Xeric, Ishari, and even the cold-hearted Draviks, races that had once fought against each other, now worked side by side. The humans didn't give them orders. They gave them tools. Every alien learned something from them: patience, teamwork, and the strange human habit of fixing everything with tape, hope, and stubbornness. Kara recorded the moment as the first new energy tower came online. The crowd cheered. Children waved flags with both alien and human symbols. She whispered into her recorder, "The humans didn't just rebuild a world. They rebuilt the galaxy's heart." That night, Mara walked alone outside the city. She looked up at the stars, billions of them shining brighter than before. Rico joined her. "Never thought we'd see this day." "Me neither," Mara said softly. "But it's just the start," Rico frowned. "The start of what?" Mara smiled faintly. "The start of something bigger, a home that belongs to all of us." The next morning, a new signal reached the colony, a faint message from beyond the known systems. It wasn't human. It wasn't from any known alien race. It was different. Mara listened carefully. The message repeated 3 times in a strange rhythm, a warning, maybe a call for help. She looked at Kara. "You hearing that?" Kara nodded slowly. "It's not from our galaxy." The air went silent. Everyone in the room stared at the blinking light of the signal. Mara took a deep breath. "Then it looks like someone else needs help." Kara gave a small smile. "And I already know what you're going to say." Mara grinned. "Yeah, we don't walk away." The stars were quiet again, but the galaxy was not at peace. Vega 9 had been saved. The humans had rebuilt a dying world. Aliens had returned, working side by side with them. Hope had returned to the galaxy, but a new signal, strange and urgent. reached them from the dark edges of known space. It wasn't like anything anyone had seen before, a pulsing rhythm of sound and light that seemed alive. No translation could make sense of it. It was a warning, a challenge, a call for help. Mara Grant stood on the highest tower of New Dawn overlooking the city. Her crew and the aliens she had saved were preparing ships and defenses, unsure what lay ahead. "This is bigger than anything we've faced," said Rico. Mara's gaze didn't leave the sky. "Then it's good the humans are leading it." Kara, standing beside her, nodded. "Your people. They've changed the galaxy." "Everyone's watching now." "Everyone will follow if you act," Mara smiled faintly. "We don't act for praise. We act because it's right. That's the difference." The alien fleets that had once abandoned Vega 9 returned fully. The Valari, the Thalans, even the Draviks, all asked humans to lead the first response. At first, Kara was shocked. Her species had always prided themselves on strategy, logic, and superiority. But the humans, simple, stubborn, emotional humans, were now trusted with the galaxy's safety. Kara finally understood. It wasn't strength in weapons or numbers. It was courage, compassion, the refusal to walk away. The human fleet prepared for the unknown signal. Ships were patched with scrap, engines overloaded, weapons ready. Every human crew member knew they might never return. Yet their faces showed no fear, only determination. Mara gave her final orders. "We don't know what's out there. We don't know if we'll survive. But we do know one thing. We won't turn away. The galaxy may be broken, but we're here to fix it. Everyone who follows us, human or alien, will have that same choice." As they jumped into hyperspace, Kara thought about everything she had witnessed. Humans had faced explosions, radiation storms, dying colonies, and collapsing planets. They had lost ships, lost friends, and almost lost themselves. And still they stayed. Still, they saved others when everyone else had given up. Still, they rebuilt when destruction seemed endless. The signal pulsed ahead, mysterious and alien, but she was no longer afraid. Humans did not run. Humans never ran. When they arrived, the unknown fleet was enormous. Ships of strange shapes and unimaginable power blocked the path. But Mara's fleet didn't hesitate. They formed lines. They opened communication channels. They extended help, not threats. The alien observers were astonished. No one else would meet an overwhelming force with compassion. No one else would risk everything before even knowing the danger. Kara whispered to herself, "This is what humans do." They face the impossible. And stay. Hours passed. Slowly, the unknown fleet began to respond. Curiosity replaced hostility. Questions replaced attacks. And for the first time, an alien race on the edge of the galaxy understood something new. Humans don't just survive. Humans stay to help. Later, as New Dawn's towers glowed under Vega 9's twin moons, Mara looked up at the sky. Ships from dozens of species returned from the mission, all intact. Kara stood beside her, silent, watching the stars twinkle brighter than ever. Mara finally spoke. "We may never know what's out there, but we know this. If the universe ever breaks again, humans will be there to fix it." Kara smiled. "Not just humans, all of us. You've shown us how to stay." The city below hummed with life. Children played in the streets. Humans and aliens laughing together. The galaxy had learned something it had almost forgotten, and above all of it, one truth shone brighter than the stars. Every alien walked away. Only humans stayed. And because they stayed, the galaxy had a new dawn.